Thanks so much for joining me today. It's MJ here, and today we're going to talk about what kids with autism want their parents to understand. But first, a little about me. I am a teenage girl on the spectrum with 14 years of special education services and a supportive community under my belt. So I'm here to educate autism families on what it takes to live a happy, full, and successful life. So let's get into it. The first thing we want you to know is us first. Not you first, us first. Step into our world. That means before anything, take some time to understand us. You can do this by spending time with us, engage in our play, listening and observing. Spend time with us doing one of our preferred activities. Truly get to know us, try to see the world from our point of view. We need you to understand what we want so we can feel safe, understood, loved, and respected. Once that bond is formed, only then will there be any opportunity for us to be more flexible so we can make an adjustment in our own behavior. You'll never get us to behave a certain way just by telling us what you want us to do. We don't learn that way. We think differently. Change happens with time and patience. Think of it as planting a tree, starting with a tiny little baby seed. Plant the seed today and expect growth much, much later. So let's just say your child is the seed. Or better yet, the new skill that you want them to learn is the seed. The seed needs to be planted in a healthy soil with plenty of warm sunlight and water consistently, and over many, many seasons. The good conditions of the seed, the sun, the water, the soil all represents you. Show us what you want us to learn by gently exposing us to this new behavior or skill in small doses without pressure or expectations, and do it repeatedly over a long period of time. That's when we will begin to grow. And if it's a behavior on our part that could be a safety hazard, do this, but redirect, don't punish. Distract us and then add positive reinforcement. And once we have been redirected from the dangerous behavior, model the new and desired behavior by doing it yourself. Let me give you a quick example by sharing an early years story about myself. When I was little, I had a food inversion. In other words, when bottle feeding stage was over, I refused to eat food completely. I was malnourished and considered failure to thrive. I received feeding therapy as part of my treatment. So in this example, the seed was the idea or plan of how to help me. The water and sunlight was the action of my feeding therapist who went into my world, literally. We would sit in a room at my home with all of my favorite toys, and the therapist engaged in play my way. Then she added into my world French fries, crackers into our play area, so then I could slowly get used to them as non-threatening. We played with fruit, cheese. We used toast to build a house for my toy animals. I enjoyed the experience with her. I trusted her. After months of play, she would randomly take small bites of our toys and express sounds of joy as she tasted and played. Then it happened. At 3 years old, I copied her behavior and took my first bite. Now, there's a lot more to this story, but that's for another video. I just wanted to give you an example of how we learn. Now that I've developed into a tree, I love food and eat a healthy range of foods. The next thing we want you to know is the 80-20 rule. Many of us have special interests or hobbies that we spend time on. For me, it's animal figurines and drums. If that's all I did, I'd be content. But I've learned that there are things out there, if we didn't try, little do we know, we'd be missing out. I'll get back to that in a moment. But please support our hobbies, even if you don't like them or understand them. As long as it's not harmful, our hobbies are a huge part of who we are. We develop niche skills, confidence, and time to decompress from our preferred activities. So leave us to it. We are the creators of the future. This is the 80% I'm referring to. Unpreferred activities, or I like to say moments of extreme flexibility, are for new things. This is extremely difficult, and forcing it upon us, threatening us with punishment, will only break the trust we have with you. It won't work. For me, it's almost like there is a large brick wall standing between me and the new activity. All I could see on the other side is my entire system going into overdrive. Forcing us over this wall is a guaranteed way to trigger a meltdown. The unknown of it all is extremely overwhelming and scary, even if we don't verbally express that. So think of planting a seed again here. Advanced planning, small doses of exposure, maybe watching a video of what the activity is going to be, setting a time and date so that we could prepare ourselves. Even after just watching before actually participating, should then be positively reinforced. Reward us with praise, some quality time, and a hug. This is the 20%, and please be patient and realistic. If you're just beginning this approach, the percentage ratio might look a little different. Next is advance notice. This one is so simple and yet so important. We like to know what to expect. We need structure. So if there's going to be one change in our daily routine, like a day trip or vacation, let us know in advance. Maybe create a schedule and have us have a say in what some of the activities will be. The last thing we need you to know is probably the most important. Don't talk about us right in front of us. Even if we are nonverbal, that doesn't mean we don't fully understand what you're saying. Find a trusted friend, spouse, or a therapist and do your venting there. Hearing how frustrated you are, how hard it is to be our parents makes us feel like we are a burden. Hearing you talk like this can have devastating consequences on our self-esteem and growth. We might not behave in a way that makes sense to you. We might not always or ever communicate our needs to you in the most effective ways, but we are the full package inside. We feel every feeling, and we know when you are disappointed in us. When you do this, you are pulling the seed out of the ground and destroying it. Imagine being trapped inside your own body without being able to say, "Hey, I'm in here. I need your help. It's scary here." Never able to get the ice cream flavor you like. Not able to tell your mom you have a belly ache, or when you are sad, or why you are sad. We want to share these things with you, but we can't. At least not yet. It's harder for us than it is for you. So again, please parent us with empathy and protect us from your desire to vent at our expense. I want to take the time to thank everyone for being here today. Just the fact that you're here, willing to learn and educate yourself, will only have a positive effect on our community. Don't forget that we're all in this life together, and we don't want to leave anyone behind, because we're only as good as our weakest link.